This is an old Jamaican house, mostly now seen in rural Jamaica. These homes were mostly built in the late 1800s to mid 1900s. The challenge will be to modernize the design. This particular design is known as the Jamaican Vernacular design. This design style is very reminiscent of the gingerbread house, also known as the stick style, with a predominant veranda. So the stick style is an architectural style used in British colonies in the United States, the Caribbean, and in Asia, and was the basis for Jamaican vernacular design. Along with using the stick style basis or foundation, the house was ornamented using the Carpenter Gothic style, which was also developed in the United States in the 1800s. The roofs were covered with split mahogany shingles until the 1900s, when Canadian cedar shingle became more readily available. Jamaican vernacular style is a stark difference from the Georgian style great house and civic buildings that we have. It was a more cozy design. It wasn't as formal as the Georgian design of the time and the Georgian neoclassical design of the time. The Jamaican vernacular was mostly built by Scottish indentured workers and children of ex-slaves or freed slaves. I will be doing a series on modernizing old Jamaican vernacular homes. There are many designs that are distinguishable designs that can be done. So I'll be doing that along with modernizing some of Jamaica's most formative great houses. So just bring them to so from the 1700s. So what we would consider a great house or a mansion in the year 2022, whole Georgian aesthetic and design features. Each design will have a sketch, a 3D drawing video, a sketch video, a 3D drawing video, and a render walkthrough. In designing this house, I chose to increase the size of the windows. This is done to increase the airflow in the house. This is an essential part of keeping the house cool because airflow is absolutely necessary. I sketch in 2D because to me, sketching 2D perspective is more. It allows me to add more detail to the drawing because I focused on a specific plane at any given time, so I get more details out of the sketch. By the time I bring the sketch to the 3D application, I would have already have the full design worked out, and it is on paper. I tend to sketch the front and the back on the floor plan all in the same session. All of these, it changes. So based on, so if I am currently doing the floor plan, when I'm doing the floor plan at the same time, even though I've already sketched the front view and the back view, I would be changing the front view and back view design based on stuff that I'm putting on the floor plan. So that is generally how I sketch, and I find it most efficient. Light fixtures are more minimalist. They're minimalist modern. I think they bring a very modern flair to the house. The lintel, I use a wooden lintel in the top because I think the wooden lintel over the entryway, it gives it more character. The lattice work was added to the design of the front facade of the house to pay homage to the gingerbread lineage or the gingerbread style lineage of the house. I think it adds to the character of the house itself and allows the house to stay true to the original design. So the railing used in this design is a wooden cable railing. I chose to go with this railing because it is the most appropriate, especially for outdoors. So I think it would fit well, along with giving the whole house a more modern look and feel. I decided to increase the height of the ceiling because the height of the ceilings in an old-time Jamaican house, like 8 feet to 8.5 feet. In my experience, a higher ceiling generally gives way to cooler house temperatures, along with giving the house a more elegant feel. Higher ceilings were used to increase the elegance of the house. One of the aims that I have at this point in the sketch is to try to visualize the modern style along with trying to stay true to the essence of the original style. So while modernizing the whole building, I'm trying to stay true to what the building is supposed to be. What I'm trying to achieve is for the modern interpretation to be distinguishable. You can easily understand it or easily realize that this is a modern interpretation, but it needs to be distinguishable from its predecessor, but fits into the environment perfectly. So the same environment that the house was in, so the design needs to have the same feel and all of that. And when you put it in the environment that the previous house or the older design is in, it needs to fit perfectly, or not perfectly, but it needs to fit and blend in. And when you look at the images, you get the same feel. That is my aim. What I would consider changes to modernize the house, change the foundation from pylons or stilts to a wall footing or a strip footing. Because back in the days, they used to use pylons to ensure that the houses were cool or stayed cool, because you had airflow under the house along with the top or right around the structure there would be airflow. But this also prevented vermin from getting into property. Also, most of these houses were wooden floors, so they prevented wet damage, a lot of things. The house needs to be able to handle all the natural disasters or all the natural phenomena that come with being in a tropical environment. So earthquakes, hurricanes, and not to mention the house needs to not absorb heat, especially in the living spaces. So that is one of the main focus of the design work. Earthquake, it's mostly the responsibility of the structural engineer, but the dissipation of heat and the protection of the house in storms and hurricanes, mostly due to the person who designs the house. The house for hurricanes, what we mostly focus on is the windows and the doors and the roof, because this house will be made mostly from concrete. But for cooling, there are many considerations. One is to shade the exterior walls, but this house already has most of the exterior walls shaded because of the veranda. The venting is designed in the roof. When I'm doing the 3D structure, you will see how I try to vent the roof to ensure that the house dissipates the heat. Insulation of the exterior concrete walls and ceiling. So what I normally do is to cover the cinder block wall with the exterior cinder block wall with on the inside internally. I'll cover the inside with a 2-inch thick styrofoam layer, and then I will render that styrofoam layer with say a 1/2 to 3/4 inch thick concrete render. And the use of wooden roofs, because we all know that metals tend to be very good conductors of heat, and wood is not a good conductor of heat, and as such it will keep the inside cooler for longer. As you know, old houses at the time aren't houses built in the late 1800s to mid to early 1900s didn't really have plumbing, so there was the bathroom wasn't attached to the house. There was an old house, and the kitchen attached to the house either, because of the fire hazards back then. So the kitchens weren't attached to the house. So just to modernize this house, I decided to add 3 bedrooms, which includes the master bedroom, 3.5 bath, kitchen, family room, dining, a living room, laundry and storage, pantry, closets for each space. It's pretty much a standard home in Jamaica, minus the pantry and the family room, because most houses in Jamaica just have a living room but no family room. But I personally think that a living room is a space where, a formal living room per se is a space where you bring your guests, and it is a procession from the living room into the more laid back, less formal areas of the house. So generally the first thing that meets any design that I do, generally the first thing that people see is the living room, formal living room, and the formal dining room, because that is where the guests will go. Then you have a procession to the living spaces or the informal spaces, such as the family room, the kitchen, with the bar and the bedrooms and the patio outdoor. That's generally how I do my designs. That's the process, unless I'm instructed otherwise. But that's the general thought. I've added a pool to the design, but I can't say that a pool is necessary. But I just added it. You'll see it in the final result. there's also a two-car detached garage. A lot of persons don't really like a detached garage per se, but having a detached garage at the time, if I'm trying to stay true to the actual design, garages weren't attached to homes back then. So having a detached garage is just me paying homage to the era, if you, for want of a better word, just paying homage to the era. But yeah, that's generally the design. That's generally how the process works. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. There will be two more videos from this house. One with the 3D drawing, another with the 3D rendering. Please like, share, and subscribe.